Hello everybody, this is Starman and welcome back to Let's Play Betrayal of Krondor. Well, you remember we're in Chapter 2, we are trying to get to the town of Romney, and we have taken a rather roundabout and very accelerated route doing so, going north from Krondor up through Quester's View. We even stopped in the Macmordain Cadal to explore a bit and do something that boosted our health. And I went through High Castle and helped out the Temple of Dala by giving them some grain, a quest that doesn't start until Chapter 2 for some reason. And we just maxed out our barding for all of our characters at North Warden by running into Tamni the Minstrel and doing some training with him. But we're currently outside of Caval Keep, where last time we ended by talking with Owen's cousin. And we're going to go in and see if Count Corvallis, Owen's uncle, has anything new to say to us this time. And yeah, nothing new in the coin fountain. And yeah, we have a moneylender there who we can't talk to yet either. James roused the occupants. The door cracked open with a small squeak, just enough space to allow a pale-eyed girl in a dust-caked skirt to peek out at them. She said them with doubtful look, hesitant to let the strangers in. "Yes, what is it?" Stepping around the seigneur, Owen peered at the girl with a puzzled expression, then brightened. "Miri? It's okay, they may look a bit rough, but they're with me." Without a word, the servant girl stepped out of the way, allowing the three of them to follow her into the foyer of the manor. Excusing herself, she scurried off to fetch her master, who was located in the rear apartments. Following what sounded like a distant argument, a dark-haired man swept into the room, a look of annoyance set in his features. Shooting a glance of mild hostility first at Owen, then at the Mordhell, he turned on the seigneur. "I haven't the time to talk at the moment. Perhaps your father runs his affairs in a more lax manner down in Tyburn, but here in Caval we do things properly here." We do things properly here, that's a bit redundant. "If I'm to raise a daughter to be a future princess, then I must see to it that she is well accustomed in the manner of court life." "Princess, Egwene? And how do you intend to arrange that? I thought she was engaged to the Baronet Theron." "The operative word being was, nephew. I've decided that we should aim higher for her. The Prince of Krondor has two boys, both unmarried, and more than eligible for the hand of my fair daughter. I think I would make a fine husband." "I agree, but with all due respect, Boric and Erlin are only two very rambunctious 11-year-olds who still run away from girls. I think the pair of them would be horrified by a proposal at this point, although I imagine that Prince Arufa might find the idea appealing. I wouldn't suggest they marry as yet, of course. They will need a very little time to grow naturally, say 2 years. 13 is a very marriageable age." "Once I return to Krondor, I will mention it to Prince Arufa." "I would be forever in your debt, senor. Is there anything I can do for you in return?" "Well, actually there is something he can do, but we're going to want to restat really quick. But you've been most helpful, Uncle Count Cornelius, but it's time we return to our business. Please give my regards to your daughter, Egwene." "I shall, senor. Good traveling, and keep an eye on my nephew." "Oh, I shall, believe me. Goodbye." So, leave the manor. Got quite a bit in the shop here. And yeah, nothing really. Well, we can sell that clerical oilcloth, finally. And where they'll take true sight tea, they will not. $136 gold for a night's barding. Not bad, but we'll go ahead and talk to the innkeeper here, because he's usually got some information. James' stomach grumbled. Waiting until another patron finished placing his order for a roast hen and a tankard of ale, the seigneur beckoned the tavern keeper away from his other duties, hoping for both information and perhaps a bit to eat. "I hope you haven't come looking for company tonight. The Duck's Head's a bit quiet this night. You'd think somebody left a corpse laying in the middle of my floor during the dinner hour." "They didn't, did they?" "Ah, no, except for the attempt to poison the Count's family a few months ago. Things have been fairly sleepy around here in Caval Keep. Farmer folk tend to keep to themselves and worry about their crops, not each other." "Who do you think tried to poison them?" "If you heard word from around the keep, you'd think no one did. They're a brave lot, all acting almost as if it didn't happen. Wouldn't matter to me if I hadn't lost my best kitchen boy when he tasted the port. I've got a new boy that works for me, but I miss my old Scully. He was a good lad. So what can I get for you fellows now that I've talked your ears off?" "Well, we can, in fact, start asking him about the Nighthawks." "Have you ever seen any Nighthawks in the area?" "Ishap or Finn, the Guild of Death, I wouldn't let them into my establishment. When my patron comes into the inns, he comes in breathing, and I like them leaving in the same condition, alive. Please tell me you aren't looking to hire one." "Hire one? I might be. There's someone I've been having problems with." Not another word of it, not another word of it. Whatever grievance you have with this man, I don't want to know. If you're looking for a contact, you'll not find one here. If you're looking for a criminal, try the pub in Prankstone. Well, that's a helpful tip. And as for Count Corvallis, been right across the street from the Count. You must see him quite a bit. Actually, no, the Count is quiet. Likes to keep to his own company, mostly. He's not much for when we're drinking with the commoners. His whole family has been much the same way, with the exception of his daughter. Does he have any unusual callers at his house? There aren't many that would visit him. Don't get me wrong, he isn't a bad sort, but he can be unpleasant at times. Understatement of the year. About the only people in and out of there are Uguine's suitors and the men who work for the Count. Let's ask about Neville, the dead brother. Did Uguine ever tell you about how it was that Neville died? I was only 7 midsummers when it happened. That was a terrible, terrible day. I thought Uguine would come apart then. She's a bit of a mother in her. Lot of iron. They dug for 4 days, poor men. Never were able to recover the little tot's body from the rubble. I still can't imagine what the Count must have been thinking. Uncle, why? What did he do? I mean, why did he hire that man Sandow to build the wine cellar for them in the first place? He had a bit of a reputation as a drunk as it was, and 3 times while he was building it, the Count discovered him so capped he couldn't stand up straight to take his thrashing. The Count should have known the cellar would be unstable. I'm sorry, I'm not being fair. Of course, none of us had a way of knowing. The man wouldn't have purposely had the cellar built shoddy. Why waste his money? Why indeed? And that one. I heard that the Count isn't too thrilled with one of Uguine's suitors by the name of Navon du Sandu. Know anything about him? It's a pity he doesn't like the man. He's perfectly charming, handsome, mannered if you haven't crossed him, but zealous if he thinks you're doing something wrong to someone. He'd be just the cat whiskers for Uguine. Any idea where we might find him? He's a businessman, so it might be difficult to track him down. I think he lives in Kinting Rush. You might try asking in the taverns there. Well, if you'll excuse us, we have a few other things we need to be about, and not much time to do them in. Well, I suppose I'll live out the company. Good day to you. And to you as well. Let's see, is there an innkeeper? And yeah, the usual conversation there, but I think I can get to rechanging my stats here. Go to assessment. Alright, assessment. Weren't you a spotter for the Maltese Rangers when you were younger? I seem to recall you telling stories when I used to visit the keep. Yeah, the Maltese Rangers being perhaps the most famous human trackers in the Raymond Feist world. Although it's a bit odd that he would have been part of the Maltese Rangers when Natal is a completely different country, one of the free cities of Natal, which is on the far side of the kingdom and not the kingdom. So, but we'll let that slide. That was quite a long time ago, indeed. Before you or Uguine or even Neville had been born. I still have the eye, too. I can tell you precisely how much a man is carrying by the way he walks, or how good a swordsman he is by the way he pulls free of the scabbard. Sounds like a useful skill. Anything you could any chance you could teach us something about it? Don't be absurd. I spent 5 years training to be a spotter. You expect me to teach it all to you in one afternoon? I suppose you're right. I'm already a decent spotter myself. I'll make you a wager, though. You teach us anything I don't already know, and I'll pay you in gold sovereigns. I'll take your wager, but I'm not going to waste my time. 200 sovereigns or it's no deal. Will you take that wager? I'm ready when you are. Let's go outside. We will have more room. The Count extended his arms. Which hand do I fight with? The Count asked. James squinted, the distance making an accurate evaluation difficult. For several hours, the Count had unabashedly chastised him for his lack of ability assessing the strengths of his enemies. My guess is your right hand. Good. Why? Your sword is slung on your left hip, James replied flatly. While it was the obvious answer, the Count was unimpressed with his practicality. Noting he was about to be regaled with about ignoring subtle clues, he quickly added, and the callus on the pads of your right thumb and the base of your fingers. The Count nodded and dropped his hands to his side. I've wasted enough time. You've lost the bet, boy. Let's get back inside. And yeah, that's all we can do here at the moment, but we did get our assessment ability increased by 15 points from the look of it, which is not bad. Although Goraf is now up to 90, which makes sense. He's been the one doing most of our scouting so far. Alright, well now that we're reslotted, So yeah, we're going to head down Romney Way, but we're not going to actually go into Romney just yet, because for one thing, we won't be able to. 128 gold. So yeah, for one thing, we will not be able to get into Romney just yet. But I did want to go through this area anyway, just for the fun of it. And yep, something is about to ambush us. And we managed to waltz right through it like it was nothing. And I believe the Temple of Banath is just around the corner here. And are the rogues still here trying to get people to drop off their metal? Yes, they are. And yeah, we get the same story about how the Temple of Banath cannot help us with, well, whatever it is we need help with. Although we are heading in the general direction of Prank Stone, which, you remember we ran into some rather odd people there. But they did suggest that if we were looking for criminals, that would be the place to check. Yeah, well, you know, I'm honestly never going to use most of these potions I have. But the strength stuff can be essential for questing, so we'll keep a hold of that. And just a quick note here, Serig's Bane. Serig is the name of the dead god of magic in the pantheon of Midkemia. So Serig's Bane here is used to counteract the effects of enchanted blades. It's a very useful substance if you're anticipating going into a lot of fights with people using magical stuff. The trick is knowing ahead of time that you are going into a fight with people using magical stuff. And unlabeled and unadorned, Garso recognized the large ceramic container for what it held. Naphtha. Applied to a sword blade in small amounts and set ablaze, it would exacerbate the pain of any cut made with the blade, though the oil would quickly burn off a sword once applied. So, yeah, you can make your sword do fire damage. Not something that we're having problems with at the moment. 90 gold for that. The man was in a talkative mood. Taking drinks from an overly large cup of ale between talks about his mercenaries, he will eventually wander into a discourse about how much he hated the followers of the god Kahuli. And yeah, we did this one already. So yeah, no criminal types here. But that did give us a hint about going to the Temple Kahuli to ask about Nighthawks, which is something we will need to do eventually. Okay, James grimaced. None of the cortege of men arrayed against them looked to be in a good mood, and even if they had no argument with him, it is entirely possible their pretense on the road meant trouble further ahead. Not exactly wishing for an armed confrontation, James tried to make the best of a situation. Could we be some assistance to you fellows? You appear distressed. Distressed? Oh, I were stressed in the extreme. There's that terrible mess down in Romney, and we lot are heading down there to head to the Riversports Guild. What of you? Are you siding with Mitchell and that bloody Blasia's Guild? That would be a no. Then you must support Ian. That would be a no as well. Men without commitments, eh? Well, better liars than one of the rabble running Romney at the moment, but I warn you, the best stay clear of all that mess. Right, so we did manage to avoid a fight with these rogues. But yeah, there is trouble in Romney. Yes, they have trouble. Right there in the River City. Well, capital T, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for, well, you know. And sure enough, that is Romney right here, but the minute we try and walk toward it, the way ahead was blocked. From among the men who were guarding the bridge, a man stepped forward to confront them. There's Mr. Whaler. Do you have a Glacier Guild seal? I'll have to see one before I can let you across the bridge. We're trying to prevent a full-scale guild war here, and we have to make sure that no unfavorable show up. It's just a formality until we can get things settled down here again. Guild war? What do you mean? There's a uprising here. Lasted for several months. The Riversport Guild took charge of several other labor guilds and surrounded Romney. The craft guilds tried to fight their way out, and seemed a losing battle until the king's men came up from Boss Tyra. They managed to pacify the Riverport's leader. The Duke of Romney's kept it from getting worse, but I can't guarantee how much longer he'll be able. It'll probably be a while before we open up the roads to the general populace. Can the townspeople come and go at will? We've restricted visitors from the outside, not imprison the citizens. Any townsperson can come and go at their leisure. I assume the same may be said of your guest. May the men of the king's company come out and play. We have business with them. I would be happy to help you, but I'm not entirely certain I know how to contact them. They're hard to get in one place, and I'm not sure I've met their leader. They're a rather untrusting pack of men. They would have to be. When you're tracking assassins, you have to be craftier and less moral than your prey. So where do I get one of these seals? It's not that easy. There's a group near Sildon that have been petitioning for membership for some time now, but they're an unruly bunch and can't find anyone to sponsor them. But if I present a seal, you will step aside, no questions asked. Well, not with no questions asked, no, but we'll show that someone from the guild is vouching for you. Enough, Reeve. We will come back. In the interim, please deliver a message to the king's men from Boss Tyra that 3 men will be here to visit with them concerning a nocturnal bird that kills at night. They will understand what the message means. Okay, so we can't get into Romney until we get a guild seal. And we could go westward from here, but instead, we're going to do something that we have not done yet, which I've avoided doing, even though we are perfectly capable of doing so now. And yeah, let's not sleep here. And this again. No, we're not with them. No, we're not with Ian. Because yes, they will not like you being with one other side either. And I can sleep here. Huzzah. No, we're going to go to back to the Temple of Banath. And we're going to take advantage of the teleportation service. And it would actually cost us less to get to the Temple of Limbs Krogma, but I think we will go ahead and go to the Temple of Ishap, because we did not explore this whole area yet. James recalled the mandala. Like a wheel of fire exploded across James's consciousness, vanquishing the world in a searing blaze of white light. For a heartbeat, all that existed in the universe was a single point of rotating fire, spun by an unseen hand with incredible power, spun by the hand of a god. James blinked. As abruptly as it had burst into existence, the mandala was gone, replaced by a simple painting upon a temple wall. A new temple wall. Nearby, a clutch of darkly robed acolytes waited, their faces registering neither shock nor fear at the sudden arrival. "You knew we were coming?" James asked, stepping away from the symbol. "As a courtesy, we were given some warning by the sending temple," one of the priests said. "You likely feel a little disoriented for a time, but the sensation should pass. Be welcome." So yeah, we're now near Tyr Sog. And we'll just head north here to see if there's anything on the bridge that might attack us. There is not. So we'll sweep southward. Toward Hawks Hollow. And I forget, is there a tavern in this town? No, there is. Well, wait till noon, go in, make us a bit of close sign hung on the door. I guess they're not too interested in doing business right now. Well, that's unfortunate. James heard a sound. Knowing they were about to be attacked, he planted his feet firmly. And giant spiders! I do not believe we have run into these things yet. Now here comes an interesting question. Can I make a spider too depressed to attack me? I can. And of course, the spiders have no loot upon them that we can take. Because that would just be silly. I mean, not quite as silly as giant spiders roaming the roadside attacking random people, but... And we're approaching the area where Isaac used to hang out. I don't believe he sticks around for Chapter 2. But I could be wrong about that. I don't remember leaving a bunch of picklocks behind. Aha! Well, somebody is lurking about near Hawk's Hollow, but I'm thinking we'll go and rest in the inn first. In fact, what the heck? Let's rest up to full. And that group that we decided to ambush will still be there 2 days later. Ah, looks like more spiders. And more hell magicians. Yeah, we'll keep those magicians from being able to cast spells. Well, the magician ran for it. Both the magicians are running for it. let's see if there's anything lying on the road to the west toward the Temple of Killian. Don't think there is, but we are going to be completists about everything we can explore, and started going a bit too quickly. Turns out there is a mob waiting here for us. Well, let's give James some protection, since he's going to be playing rabbit for us. Oh, that guy did strength drain on him, which means he's going to be less than useless in a fight today. Then again, perhaps not. Let's go ahead and take that magician out first thing. Yeah, that strength drain does not seem to have affected James at all. Oh, heck, might as well. Oh, heck. Why not? Alright, let's check them for money. And hey, another tuning fork. And some Fedimir's formula. And nothing here. Nothing here. Alright. Well. Well, I just had a cunning idea. But I think I'll save that for next time. Yeah, that's where the armorer is. And here we are just south of Zun, where we passed by already. Well, I'm ready to call this chapter closed. But next time, we'll go ahead and head back toward Egley, see how Devon the Tavern Keeper is doing, and then we will start taking the route west, or the route west through Darkmoor, through Malek's Cross, that we are meant to be taking for this chapter. We will see you then.